Back here down to downtown Kyiv, the Russians are still indiscriminately bombing this whole area. A huge part of this fight is centered up by Hostomel, where the airport is up here. The Ukrainians had pushed out. We don't know if they've actually fully retaken the airport, but nearby there's a lot of supermarkets, a residential area. This, for example, is a grocery store that's on fire. We'll switch here and put it into this map so you can see. This is a normal suburban part of a suburb of Kyiv. This is the grocery store that's been hit. You see around it, nothing else has been hit, and this is pretty much par for the course for the Russians, who are just indiscriminately rocketing and shelling whatever they can to try and really hurt the civilian population and put them into a submissive role. That's certainly what's happening in Mariupol. We'll get there in a minute. Probably from a military standpoint and a strategic standpoint, this is where we continue to watch. The Russians are starting to make their way north here, just outside of Mariupol, and then south around here from Kharkiv and cross a river that's right here. If they are able then to cut off this Ukrainian force, it will be a slaughter of tens of thousands of Ukrainians. This is some of the best of the Ukrainian fighters that they have and some of the best units. That's something to really keep an eye on over the weekend. The other place from a civilian standpoint that everybody is watching is Mariupol. We've talked about that a lot. This is the Mariupol theater that was hit, where they had children written outside. This was the bomb shelter where there's still hundreds of people trapped inside. We have some video of that to show you. This is what is left of the theater. It is incredible, the amount of damage that has been done. The city has seen the worst of the Russians, and yet this city is continuing to hold out time and time again in a pretty incredible way. About 350,000 people, they don't have power, they don't have water anywhere inside the city, and you can see just how far the Russians have pushed all the way in. There's no hope of resupply down by the water. We'll zoom back out to the big map so we can talk now to Brent, Sadler, Senior Fellow for Naval Warfare Advanced Technology at the Center for National Defense. Start from the naval side of this. We know that the Russians are trying to push out here out of Crimea, through Kherson, and then to Odessa for this amphibious assault. How long can these Russian ships and these amphibious assault ships sit outside of Odessa before they're going to have to go in for resupply, before the crews on board and the soldiers on board just wear out?
Well, thanks for having me on again tonight. As far as the ships, they can stay at sea for quite a long time. Probably we're talking the order of several weeks, but that's not what they've been doing. Probably the limiting factor for their time at sea are actually the Army folks, or their equivalent Marines that are on board, especially as they're not probably used to being at sea and probably getting somewhat seasick. So what they've been doing is going into port and then surging out every other day or so, shelling the beaches along the coast to the south of Odessa, and then just yesterday actually in Odessa itself. And then they aim to pull back, probably offloading any troops they may have had on board, or just part of conditioning and sensing where the threat might be when they actually do get the go word to go for an assault on the beachhead there.
Yeah, there's always the fog of war, and you and I talked about this the first and second day. The narrative, of course, which we are happy to report, is that the Ukrainians are doing quite well, certainly much better than anybody ever expected. But, Brent, at the same time, you've got the Ukrainians beginning to get pinched in the east. How long is it until the Russians are able to close around and cut off that major force that's sitting out there in the east? And then Vladimir Putin will have much of what he said he wanted, which is Crimea, a land bridge to Ukraine, and then the Donbass, which is the eastern part of the country.
No, absolutely. I mean, that seemed to have been the most likely strategic objective of this entire campaign militarily, and that is secure the Donbass, secure an overland route from that area to Crimea. But his nationwide assault that he's launched has certainly been a much more costly and a lot more risky way of doing it. So you're right, watching that potential cutting off of the most trained, the most heavily equipped the Ukrainian armed forces there in the Donbass is something that would be catastrophic for the overall war effort. But there's a lot of other factors that are still at play here. Those bridgeheads going across the rivers, those are places that you can plan to. The equipment that's been provided, the javelins and the stingers, one of the first places where they were sent that we're hearing from declassified reporting from the CIA is that that is actually an 8-year-long training mission that's been going on. So they're also the most capable of the use of this equipment, and I'll probably have a large amount of it. So any attempt to surge around them will probably meet even stiffer resistance than they've seen outside of Kyiv.
Brent, I want to get your thoughts on Mariupol. We've seen all of the tragic, horrifying images out of the damage of Mariupol. I mean, it is, by all accounts, just destroyed. I want to play for you and for people at home a clip from the Ukrainian presidential advisor on the situation in Mariupol. Take a listen.
Военного решения в настоящий момент по Мариуполю нет. Можете сколько угодно затегать меня, офис президента, лично президента и так далее. Этого решения нет. И это мнение не только мое, это мнение военных.
All right, Brennan, in case you couldn't see that and can't translate, there is currently no military solution to Mariupol. You can accuse me, the presidential office, the president personally, and so on, but there is no solution. My question for you is, what can the Ukrainian forces, even the Ukrainian fighters, learn from the situation in Mariupol to prevent that from happening elsewhere in other cities?
So the fighting, I think, is still ongoing. There's some resistance in Mariupol. But I think we're in the final phases of the loss of that city. The resistance has been stronger than what was expected. In places like Kharkiv and Kyiv as well, it's important to look at the importance of having a supply route and keeping up an open corridor. Once that's lost, it becomes a much trickier and harder to maintain the fight. And so, unfortunately, the Russians are wearing down the Ukrainian armed forces and the people by just sheer numbers and the saturation attacks from the rocket launches as well as the air assaults.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.